Alright, hello friends. Today we're going to take apart some IMs. So, it is New Year's Eve, and to celebrate New Year's Eve, we're going to take some stuff apart. I'm not going to take all of it apart, just a disclaimer, or I'm not going to take some stuff all the way apart, but I'm going to take most of it apart. So, anyway, I just wanted to show you guys these real quick. This is the Aiderlot, AIDERLOT M5. They are a 5BA IM. I got them off eBay. They were broken for 60 bucks. And essentially, what I did is one of the sides, the base BA wasn't working, so I just and they're completely potted in resin, as you can see. So I essentially just slammed, I think it was the left side, it was this side here. So I essentially slammed it on a piece on the table, and it came back to life. So anyway, I cut the old face plates out, and I added new resin. They're not really shiny because I need to go, whoops, because I need to go back over them. Come on. There we go. So they're not really shiny because they're just like cheap resin. So I still need to go back over the resin with some lacquer. But anyway, I thought they looked cool. Thought you guys might like to see them. They use one Knowles driver, two Belsing drivers, and then I think one E-Audio driver for the treble. They don't really sound too good. I mean, they sound alright, but they're flat and they have a lot of treble timbre to them. And they have this interesting design where there's a dampener in the nozzle there, and then they have these screw-on like nozzle, whatever you call them, the punch steel plates, but they have dampers inside them too, so you can actually change the tuning a bit. And I think I just cross-threaded it. Oh no. Really? There we go. So anyway, kind of a cool IM. They're MMCX, but I got them for 60 bucks. I can't complain. And then I thought it would be cool to add resin on the back so you can see inside the IMs. This is the actual faceplate. So at least this was the old faceplate, and I just cut it off. So, anywho, sorry about that tangent. So, I got my tools. I got all my tools with me. This is what we're going to take apart today. I have the KZ ZNA. Okay. Whenever I say it, I always think of like TNA, like tits and ass, but it's ZNA. So these are the ZNA, 1DD, 1BA. We'll take those apart just a little bit. I'm not going to take them all the way apart because I still have to review them, but we'll take the face plates off and we'll look inside. And then I have the Canpur 1DD. Okay, so we're going to be taking these guys apart, and we'll see what the DD looks like inside. And then I have the Canpur 1-in-1, so we're going to take these apart, see what these look like. And then I have another 1-in-2 coming, but I'm not going to take it apart just yet because it hasn't arrived and I don't know how the channel balance is. I want to make sure it's got good channel balance before I take the working pair apart. And then lastly, we have the Tin-Hifi T3, so we're going to be taking those apart. So I got 4 sets of IMs that we're going to take apart, and I'm just going to mark the time now. It's 4 minutes and 30 seconds into the video. I'm going to stand up because this is easier for me to see. I can actually see what I'm doing. So anyway, I don't know if you guys are stoked for New Year's or not. Don't know if you have any New Year's resolutions. If you do, put them in the comments. Let me know what your New Year's resolutions are. Personally, mine is to be more productive with IMs. One major New Year's resolution I have is to make some 3D printed IEMs. So that is going to be like my first thing that I want to do. So I want to finish up all the rest of the projects that I have around here. I have two of them left that I need to finish, and then as soon as I'm done with them, I won't have anything, no projects for nobody, no favors, nothing like that. I'll be all done, and then I'm going to strictly dedicate myself on making 3D printed IEMs. So which one should we choose? Let's see. We're 6 minutes in. Let's see. I am going to start with the ZNA because this is the most basic one. So let's do the ZNA first. Alright, so ZNA, you see right here, it's the 1DD, 1BA. Okay, you can just barely make out the 1DD inside, and you can also see the BA through the window there. For any of you guys that don't know, KZ used to use Belzing BA in their IEMs, and then they recently switched to, or not recently, but like a year ago, they switched to E-Audio. So if you ever wonder why their treble timbre got better and there's not as much like treble timbre as there used to be, it's because they switched from Belzing to E-Audio. The one reason why I don't really like or don't really care for Belzing BA is that they have more treble timbre than E-Audio. So anywho, let's see if we can look in the inside here. So you can't see the BA from inside. The direction of the nozzle is really hard to see. You can just barely make out the DD in there. So it looks like it's a one hole DD. And what I mean by one hole is there's only one port where the sound exits from. So, but anyway, yeah, you see that, and then the BA is like somewhere down in here. So anyway, and then and then there's the crossover board right there. So you can just make out the crossover board. So alright, and then I want to zoom out. Actually, I need to go to 2x. Sorry. Okay, so there we are, 2x. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to take the cap off, and then I'll get back to you guys. Alright, here we go. So, the construction, they are metal face plates. So this portion right here is metal. Okay, so all that through there. So the majority of it is metal, and then these little zigs in here, these little zigzags, that is plastic. So, sorry, I got a piece of skin hanging off. So anyway, so those are, that's all metal, and then the little zigzags are plastic. Similar construction to DQ6 and DQ6S, where the actual 2-pin connector is retained on the faceplates. Okay, so you can see that. The shell is very similar to the, what is the model number? So the shell is very similar to the ZES. And you can see there's the 12 millimeter. Let's get right up in there. Okay, so there you go. See the 12 millimeter DD. And then you have your resistor. Okay, so the darker one is the resistor. Here, let me get a little bit closer. So the dark one is the resistor, the light one is the capacitor. You have your crossover in series. Okay, so the power comes in on this red wire here, goes into this terminal right here, comes off, goes into the crossover board, and then you got a resistor and a capacitor there. So it looks like what they're doing is they're not using they're not using the tuning circuit on the back of the DD. Maybe my thoughts are maybe it just crosses over at the wrong point, so they wanted to change the crossover frequency, so they added this little crossover board here instead, because normally they would just wire the BA. It would have been much easier for them to just wire the BA into the DD right here. So because this dynamic driver has its own crossover circuit. So resistor, capacitor, and yeah, and then we have two negative terminals going in on the other side, and then over here is where the dynamic driver wires come in and go into the DD. And then we have this like gelatinous potting compound. So this is what prevents like vibration. But yeah, anywho. But yeah, so that's what holds the DD in. I still haven't figured out what exactly this material is, because I would like to use it in some of my IMs. It's obviously very clear. It's like some sort of clear silicone, but it's very malleable. It's very soft, and it's one reason why companies add this material is for shock proofing. So if you say you drop the IM, you know, you bang it, this material here will absorb some of the vibration, and it will keep the driver from being damaged, but also because of its density. So that's one thing you want to look for in a glue. You want to look for its density. There's several factors, but anyway, but yeah, you want it to be kind of springy, so that way it can absorb vibration, especially when it comes to mounting BA. That's probably why they're using this stuff, so they can keep this BA safe from vibration. But another reason why is this material will flow into all the cracks, but it won't flow into like every crevice. It'll only stay in certain areas because it's only so dense, you know. For example, I use different densities of resin, and that's because they flow at different rates. So that's one thing. They flow at different rates, and then also on top of that, they can fit in different sized gaps. So a thicker resin won't be able to fill smaller gaps as well as a thinner resin will. So if I'm trying to like seal every single little nook and cranny, then I would want to use like a thinner resin. So, and then the vents, so we have the vents here. They are indeed real for the most part. So there's a little pocket here inside the shell that the vents fit into, and I can actually probably take it out. There we go. So yeah, so that is the vent right there. And they just kind of bend it and then tuck it into this little area here. Sometimes they do what's called heat staking, where they'll use the plastic and they'll melt the plastic over the grill, and that heat staking basically it melts it into place. But yeah, so right there is where your vent is. Oh, this focus sucks. Yeah, right there. That's where the sound vents through. So most of it is just for appearances, but it is also functional to a certain extent. So, and that's what it looks like from the outside without the vents. And then if I really wanted to, I could probably pry this metal off of the plastic, and you could see the plastic molding. I don't know if that's possible though, because the this faceplate is going through the. Sorry guys, the faceplate is or the connector is going through the plastic into the metal. So, and you can see the plastic inside there. I wonder if I could pop it out. Ouch. Ah. I stabbed myself. If you ever wonder why my hands are all beat up, this is why. So, but anyway, yeah, I'll do that later. But yeah, I can take it out. It looks like they glued. Looks like they also glued them together too. Yeah, that's glue. So they also glued the faceplate, plastic and metal together. Cool. Anyway, I'll futz with that later. But yeah, so there is, just to recap, there's the BA, there's the DD. We got the dampener on the back right there, so that's the dampener. They're not using the frequency divider on the back of the DD. Instead, they're using this little, this little frequency divider right here. Okay. And if you ever want to wire up like a BA and a DD, or you want to create a crossover, or otherwise known as frequency divider, you always put your resistor first in line. So the power comes in and it always goes through the resistor first. Never put a capacitor in front of a resistor. It always goes power in, resistor, and then capacitor. So, alright, on to the next one. Alright guys, 17 minutes in. Sorry, I know that was a little long, that last one. Okay, so here we have the Canpur. Whoop, let me focus in on this. We got the Canpur Joyful 1. This is the 1DD. Okay. Let me grab another. Here we go. Let me grab my sewing needle. Also, if you decide that you're the type of person that wants to experiment with retuning your IMs, grab yourself a pack of sewing needles. You'll thank me later, but yeah, they are by far the best way to take like tuning foam and like dampening materials off. Just grab a little needle, that's all you need. And then if you ever want to store these, the proper way to store them is to get a sheet of wax paper like you have in your kitchen and attach these to the wax paper, because it'll keep the adhesive material intact and you can reuse them as many times as you like. But the more you touch them, the more you attach them to stuff like plastic or paper or whatever, the more oils and grease and dirt and debris they pick up, and the less they will be able to stick. So, nope. There we go. So this is the tuning dampener of the Canpur Joyful 1. It is a, what do you call it? It's like a moondrop style tuning damper. I don't know what the grain of the mesh is. I know you can see the individual mesh because I can see it through the camera. It's just barely visible. But yeah, it's probably like 400 something, 450 maybe. But yeah, so that is, and then there's a layer of protective mesh on top. It's not very good quality mesh. It's pretty cheap, but it does the job. So it's double-sided. So you have adhesive on this side. That's what the black stuff is. So you have adhesive on this side, and then you also have adhesive on this side that they attach the screen to. So, and I will just leave this right there next to that one. Okay. So here is our IM, and I was looking at in this the other day, and you can just barely see inside the IM there. You can just make out the shape of the DD. So it's just right there. But anyway, yep, nice build quality. Like I said, if you guys haven't already picked up the one-in-one, I highly recommend you do. I just put them head to head against the the John Woo, and they come out ahead. So not the 1DD, but the 1+1, the 1DD 1BA. They actually sound better than the TRN. And the TRN's like $30, $27. So definitely go for these instead. And you can thank me. You can thank me later. All right. As far as the tuning goes on the one-in-one, it's like a kind of a bright signature. It's like a neutral bright, and it is fairly treble heavy, but it's upper treble. So. Come on. Oh, shoot. Oh well, that's fine. I need to do this anyway. Sorry guys, it's going to be just a little bit messy. So you can see there, I'm kind of digging into the wood. But the way these are designed is they have the shell here. So you see this black ring around the edge. This wood is it's inlaid, so it's actually laid inside the shell, and then they pour the resin over top, which is actually a better construction method. It's more durable than just taking this and like setting the faceplate on top and then going around it with resin. But it makes it more difficult to open, and it's actually a rather thick layer of resin too. If I show you guys. That's really thick. So not bad at all. And then here's what it looks like. So that's the raw wood when the resin is removed. I'll tell you what, the resin definitely gives the wood some character. It brings out all the colors. Makes it look really good. And I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but I already bought another pair, not of the 1DD, but I bought a pair of the 1-in-1 and also the 1-in-2. I bought the last one just so I have a working pair after I destroy these, because they are really good for the sale price. I mean, you really can't beat it. I promise you. If you're looking for an IM and you don't want to spend more than like $20-25, go for these. They're not bad. They're not the smoothest, but I'll promise you that you'll get a better listening experience from these than you will some other IM. All right, perfect. Okay, so let's take this off. Come on. Okay, so here's the bottom side of the shell. So like I said, see, they pushed it in. All right. So this is the top side. But yeah, there's a little recess that they designed into the 3D print. There we go. There's a little recess that they designed into the 3D print, and then they milled this piece of wood. So they just went with like a router. The way you do that is you stick you stick your sheet of wood to the CNC machine or the laser cutter or whatever it is, and you use like double-sided tape, and you stick the whole piece down, and then that way it can cut out the entire shape without the wood moving, and then you just pry them up when you're done. But yeah, if you get all your dimensions right in CAD or whatever, then you get these nice clean shapes, and you can just take your IM with your 3D printed shell. See that's the lip I'm talking about. So you see right here, see the lip? So that was what the wood was inlaid into. So they just went and just sandwiched it on. So very nice to see. So there's a rear cavity damper in here. So that is why there is no pressure buildup inside these IMs. So none of the IMs, none of the Canpur IMs have any kind of pressure buildup issues. None of them have driver flex issues. And that's all because they added this little feature right here. Because what it does is, so you have the back of the DD. So this is where the front of the DD would be, where the sound comes out. And they just have a tube. So the DD fires this way, and then they got a little tube. So the sound goes back out, or the pressure at least goes around, goes back out the back. And then it goes into this rear cavity here, kind of moves around with the sound that's coming out of the back, or the pressure that's coming out of the back of the DD, and then it all kind of finds its way out this hole right here. So you can insert these and pull them out of your ears as quickly or as many times as you want, and you'll never have any kind of pressure issues. So very very good design, very solid design. So whoever engineered these knew what they were doing. They just weren't the greatest at tuning. They need to work on their tuning a little bit, but A+ for effort. And the print of the shell is very high quality. It's a DLP. You can tell it's 3D printed using DLP. Whatever the resin is, it's very very hard, so it feels like a high quality resin. And of course, they're probably using like Egger lacquer or maybe like an off-brand. But a very high quality lacquer. So all in all, like it's like I said, you can't get this type of quality IM for this price. The closest thing you'll get to it is in the what is it called, the Kiwi Ears Cadenza, but even then the quality on that one is not as good. The sound quality is, whoever tuned it really knew their stuff. But unfortunately, the build quality is just a little lackluster. But I can understand that because they made up for it with the cable and the accessories and all that stuff. So, and then like I said, I am going to save this piece of wood, and I will reuse it later. And I hope you guys enjoy all these little tips and stuff that I'm giving you, explaining how the IMs work and all that. And then same thing with this. So what they do is you take your piece of wood. Usually this cross section here, this is about 1 millimeter. So most of the time your faceplates are always going to be 1 millimeter. So like I said, they mill around the edge. The one side is stuck down with double-sided tape onto the table, and then they go and they cut out the shape. And then when they're done cutting out the shape, they might give it like a quick sand. I don't even know if they go that far, probably not, but they might give it a quick sand. And then what they do is they do the same thing with this lettering here. So they get like big metallic foil sheets, and then they have these stickers printed in the foil. And they're done the same way. They're either like laser cut. They're not etched, that's for sure. They don't use like a CNC router, but they like laser cut them. Or sometimes they'll stamp them. They'll use like a stamp, like a press. Or they might use like a plotter, maybe that like cuts them. But most likely it's either laser cutting or it's some sort of stamping. But yeah, then they basically take, there's like a backing, and they peel the backing, and then they go and just stick it down. there might be like a little template that they use so they can get it in the right location, but then they just go bloop, put it down there, and then they take the IM and they stick the faceplate in here, and it might require some sanding. So like, you know, they might get to this point. Where is that? Oh, there it is. So it might require some sanding. So they might go around it with sanding, but usually because it's all laser cut and everything, they have the tolerances down ahead of time. But yeah, then they just sink it in like that, go around it with a little bit of glue. They might not even go that far, they might just use the resin. But yeah, then they just go blob a bunch of resin over the top, cure it, take the lacquer, go over it with all the lacquer, and boom, you're done. Actually, what they probably do is they probably lacquer everything except for the faceplate. So they go all the way around the edge here, and they do like all of this and all of this and everywhere else. And then once they get to the top here, so they cure all this, and they leave the top unfinished, and then they maybe they push this in, and then they add the resin on top. They might not even use a lacquer, or they might take the lacquer and just dump it on top. And one thing is so that they use what's called surface tension. So if you ever wonder how like an IM, like this faceplate, how it's like kind of domed, you know, but you don't see like any runs, you don't see any resin like spilling over the edge. That's because once it hits the end of the edge, that surface tension, because it has nowhere to go, it doesn't want to crawl. It wants to hold itself together. It's kind of like water, you know, when you have like a bead of water. And so it'll all just stay right here. And essentially, they just take the light and go boop. And this kind of shows you that they cure all the resin at one time, because you see this little indent here. That is from the resin or the lacquer curing at different points. So there was either like a hot spot here where it was getting more UV light, and that's why there was an indent. But that's why that happens. So it's because of the UV process, because of the curing process. You see, this one doesn't have it, and there are different factors that can contribute to that. So like the whatever you're using as like a faceplate can reflect certain light. And so like that area will cure faster, but the other ones won't, because it's maybe a different color, or it just depends. It's all about the wavelength of the light. But anyway, so to get back onto these now, so we have our connector here, nice quality connector we can salvage, and there's a nice design here. You see they got these like cuts right here, these reliefs or whatever cut out, so that the connector has support, holds it on both sides, but it doesn't actually cover the whole thing. So that's cool. And then now I can already tell you that this DD right here, this dynamic driver, is most likely made from Blon, so the company BLON. I've seen this driver before. This is the same driver that you would see in the heart mirror, for example. And it has the same type of PCB material where there's like a plaid or like a weave or whatever. You can see it inside, like you can see the fibers. It's got the 2 points right there that hold the PCB on. It's got the same green glue, same red dot, same 4 conductor PCB, same gold shell. So this is all the same so far as the Blon driver, which, like I said, is the same driver that's in the heart mirror. So, like I said, when I heard it, I told you guys that it's a good quality driver. And like when I said that, I meant it. Like, it is a really good quality driver. But, and there's a but, the tuning is just not very good. And I'm almost willing to bet, if you guys want to take bets on it right now, I'm almost willing to bet like $100 that if I put this driver into the heart mirror shell, it'll sound exactly like a heart mirror. Or if I put it into the Blon Z200, it'll sound just like the Z200. And if not, if it doesn't, I can guarantee you right now that I can just change this dampener on the back and it'll change the sound. So anyway, so there's our relief right there. There's our little pressure relief. And if I were to shine a little light up through the bottom there, I could probably almost guarantee you that you'd see the light coming out the back. So I'm just going to set that down there. All right. So let's do some destruction. I'm not going to be gentle to these. I was thinking about digging the DD out all careful and stuff, but now that I see it, I don't give a shit about the shells. I'm just gonna bust them up. So let's do it. And maybe if I break it right, we can get a better look at it. So there we go. See, maybe if I break it on this end, it'll... Yeah, there we go. Nice. Perfect. So we have a nice little cross section here. Alright, so there's our vent hole. So here's the whole reason why the tuning sucks, guys. Keep this in mind. See this shape of this cavity here? This is a no-no. Okay? This is a no-no. This is not how we tune. Shape should not be like this. It should not funnel this large down into a smaller section. And I can kind of show you guys, but yeah, you see how big this chamber is? No, that's not good. It needs to be completely flat almost up until like the 3/4 mark, and then there should be a little section that's open. But yeah, so that's the issue with the tuning, and you can hear it. And also, see how this material looks like someone's like fingerprints almost? I can guarantee you right now that this is absorbing and diffracting and reflecting all sorts of different sound, and that is why there's like a bit of harshness to the driver quality, like to the texture of sound, is all because of this right here, because of this. If they would have just taken the time to go over this with another layer of resin and smoothen it out, they wouldn't have the same issues with timbre. And I can guarantee you that right now. So let's pull this driver out. Alright guys, look at that beautiful blonde driver. Okay? So yep, that is indeed a blonde DD. I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to go grab my DD and I'm going to show you guys. Alright, you guys ready? Are you ready for the big reveal? Are you ready? I got him out of focus here. I'm going to bring him into focus slowly. Dun 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 dun. Okay? So which one is blonde and which one is heart mirror? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Can you guess? You want to take a guess? Alright, you guys ready? This one is heart mirror. This one is blonde. And you can actually kind of see a difference in the diaphragm material. See how the blonde is more cloudy? There's like some sort of either composite material and there's like something in there, or something else, but you see how much shinier the heart mirror DD is? Okay, so let me get back on the table here real quick. Alright, so there's our blonde. This is the Z200, by the way. So that's the Z200 DD. Okay, this is the heart mirror DD. Okay, and give me 1 second. Let me just liberate this from the shell. There we go. Alright, and this is the Canpur Joyful 1 DD. Okay, so indeed, the DD is made by Blonde. Okay, so that's the Joyful 1 DD. This is the Heart Mirror DD, and this is the Blonde Z200 DD. And like I said, you can see the PCB on this one is like a solid color. And then we turn over the heart mirror DD, and you can see the PCB has that kind of like texture to it. And then here is the Canpur 1DD DD 1DD DD. Okay, and let's zoom in real close on these real quick. Let's try to spot the differences. So there are going to be differences from batch to batch. That's just how they are when they manufacture these. So the PCB does look a little bit lighter on this one. The also the mesh looks like it might be a little more porous on the heart mirror DD. Okay, they might be the same mesh. I'm going to I'll graph both of them, and I'll let you guys know which one's which. But yeah, and then here is the front of the DDs. So no cloudy on this one, guys. So yeah, so it is indeed the same the same heart mirror dynamic driver. So it is indeed the heart mirror driver. Cool. Hope you guys enjoyed that. So like I said, I told you I could hear the quality of the driver. I knew it was a good driver, but I didn't know which driver it was. So it does have the same driver as the heart mirror. That is really cool. Now, a buddy of mine told me that they did revise the heart mirror. So I don't know which revision this is. My heart mirror is pretty old. I did buy it like when they first came out, but I don't know if I have a first revision DD. Apparently that one is the best, and then the second revision is the second best. But yeah, I'm not sure. Now for the 1 and 2, or I'm sorry, this is still a joyful one. For the 1 and 2, I'm not gonna futz around with the faceplate and all that. I'm just gonna chop them open real quick so you guys can see what's up. So let me just pull the mesh off here real quick. Just want to show you there's the BA inside. And I'm really curious to see which BA they're using. Because the BA quality is pretty good, but I'm almost willing to bet that it's e-audio. It could be a Knowles. I will be very surprised if it's a Knowles. If it's a Knowles, I'm going to buy like a shit ton more of these because it's so worth the price. It's like not even funny. Alright. Here we go, guys. Let me zoom in here for you. Again, the 3D printing is very good quality. It's got to be like some sort of DLP. This goo here. So yeah, this is about the same texture as the stuff. Probably breaks up a little bit more, but this is like very similar to the stuff that was in the KZ. This is more silicone-y. And then let's see. Are they using any crossover components at all? Oh man, it looks like they're not even using a crossover. So we could probably make these sound better if we just added a little crossover. Oh man, that is crazy. I can't believe they're not using any crossover components. Like there is no frequency divider on that BA. I mean, they don't really need it. Like the BA will only replace certain frequencies anyway. But still, that's kind of nuts. Alright, so let's crack her open. Okay, so there's her BA. Let me try to pull it out gently. I don't want to break it. Oh, I see an e-audio. Oh, I told you guys. Told you it's an e-audio. Look at that. See those two dots right there? Boom, boom. That is indeed an e-audio BA. That is kind of disappointing, but hey, I'm cool with it. Yeah, see, so it says, here, let me bring it a little closer. So it says HVEK 3095. And like I said, there's no crossover. They are just strictly wired in parallel with the dynamic driver. But you know what? Hey, for being this simple, they did a good job. I'm not gonna lie. These IMs actually sound pretty good. So it's good to know that they at least used decent quality components. Or if you really wanted to make these sound better, you could rather easily. It's not gonna cost you very much at all to make these sound better. So, and then there's our heart mirror DD again. Oh, and that's another thing too. All of these IMs so far have had perfect channel matching, like perfect balance. None of them have sounded off. The channel matching is like extremely good on these. Like they are solid. I mean, and I bought five pair. Here, let me get my hand in there. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pairs, and not a single issue with channel balance in any of them. So yeah. So awesome driver. Good driver. That's the foundation of these IMs. So just not a great design. They need to redesign this chassis here. But yeah, I get myself. Look at this. I mean, okay, so this was $22. So for the price of $22, okay, shipped to my door, I get heart mirror DD, I get the BA, I get connector, I get a cable, I get ear tips, I get a case. Like, that's a freaking killer value. Even just the parts alone. Like, holy cow. Now going from the DD to the one with the DD and the BA, I don't know if it's worth it for the extra few bucks, because that is what is it? Let's see, 17. I mean, it's five extra dollars that you're paying for the BA. That's what you would normally pay if you were to buy these off of Alibaba. You would probably pay $5 for the set, and if you're buying them off AliExpress, you're going to be paying about $8 a set for any quantity over or maybe 7 a pair for any quantity over 4 or 5. So anywho, well, sweet dude, I got myself a bunch of new heart mirror DDs. So anyway, I'll just leave that as is. Come on. Okay, so there are all our beautiful new drivers. There's our little beautiful faceplate there. Okay, you see that? Awesome. Alright guys, try to make this video as short as possible, and we will move on to the next one. But that's all the carnage right there. That's at least stuff that didn't fly across the room. So we'll just leave those there. Alright, I'm going to pause for a second, and then I'll be right back. Alright guys, looks like we have only one left, and that is the Tin-Hifi T3. I have no idea how to get these apart. They're all metal, so they're probably going to be a pain in the ass. But let's do it. Hopefully I don't damage the BA inside, because these are Knowles 33518. Now, if there's one thing I gotta say about what can't even think now. Goodness, I'm trying to say and I can't talk. If there's one thing about Tin-Hifi, they really know their stuff when it comes to building IMs. They're durable. Now their resin IMs are no different than really any other company nowadays, but their metal IMs, just the machining, It's just beautiful. Like they could honestly like sand that down if they wanted to, and like really polish it. Like if they still left it a little bit rough, but man, it just looks so good. And then like the annealing or whatever they did here, like just that texture. It looks like they, I bet you $20 they sandblasted it, and that's why it looks that way. So, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Now as far as getting these apart, I see a little gap right in here, so I'm going to try to take the back off first. I think the back's come off. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm going to try. Alright guys, I'm going to pause for a second so I don't have you sitting here the whole time. And then I'll get back to you when I get a little progress with these. Alright, I got the backs off. So here is the back of the Tin-Hifi T3. We can see the dynamic driver here. Let me just bring it in a little closer so we can see it a little better. There we go. Okay, you can kind of see where the wires for the BA go off. It looks like they're not using any kind of crossover or anything for these either. Looks like the wire just comes in and goes out. They might have something tucked in there. I see something. Nope. Yep. Nope. There's a capacitor. Cool. See, yep. They got a little capacitor there, just kind of potted. Alright, so there's the little capacitor. There's the DD. So the wires just come in into the DD and then come out and go in there. Now the question is, can I pull these two sections apart? Alright, let me see what I can do. I'm going to pause. Before I go, there's one last thing. So they're actually dampening the back of the shell. So there is the vent for the T3. And then if you notice, there's a dampener right there. So cool. Clever design. I guess maybe they needed to do that for tuning purposes. Alright, I got them out. So this is the, yeah, I bunged them up a little bit. But yeah, so it's basically press fit. So this is like a little, it's like a knuckle. So you got the back plate that goes, well, back plate goes in one end, and then you have the nozzle that fits into another end. And I remember taking the T2 apart a long time ago, but I forgot how they did it. Maybe it was the T2 Pro. But yeah, that's basically how they did it. And then there's your little piece for the BA. So, all right, give me a second. I'll get this driver out. All right, very interesting stuff on the part of the dynamic driver. There's, first off, I don't know if this is from the person wearing it, like the owner that had it before me, but you see this, it's like haze. I don't know what that is. Here, let me try to get in a little better. There you go, you see that? It's only right above where the vent is. Like, what is that? But yeah, cool looking dynamic driver. It looks like good quality, man. And you see how thick this foam is, that tuning foam? Sorry, by the way, I know my hands are disgusting. I apologize. But yeah, like look at that. Look how thick that is. That is some thick ass foam. And then this is what it fits into. So basically this just kind of restricts the sound coming from the center, and this probably holds the BA in place. So I could probably go around this and get that BA out. So let me just do that real quick. But yeah, some very interesting tuning techniques here from Tin-Hi-Fi. Very, very interesting driver. I like it. Alright, be right back. Ooh, alright, you guys are really gonna like this. Okay, so let's start off with the shell first. So here's the shell for the T3. Sorry, there's lots of glue in there. I just want to pull some of it out. Okay, so here's the shell for the T3. The first thing you notice is the screen. Okay, so there's the mesh for the DD for the tuning. Okay, just a little piece of mesh. See nice machining on the inside too. Okay, some nice machining on the inside of the shell. Alright, and then this is where the BA lives and sits, just in there. Okay, so really cool. That's some super cool stuff. Very nice, very high quality. Very, very good job, Tin-Hi-Fi. You guys did an excellent job. Even the IMs themselves. I know some people didn't like the T3, but I gotta admit, I didn't find it very bad. I thought it was pretty good. So here's the BA. Okay, this is not a 33518. This is a 32873. This is the RAF series. This is a full range BA, boys. It's a full range BA. But yeah, look at this. Look at this cool little thing. This like had to cost some money. So they got this little bracket here that they manufactured specifically to hold the BA above the dynamic driver. So this is how it all goes together. So I don't know if maybe that just kind of rests on top of the dynamic driver. But yeah, so this is how it works. So sorry guys, I'm trying to keep focus. So the dynamic driver fires out through these holes around the BA. So that's all the mid-range and stuff that you're hearing. And you can kind of see a little bit of the dynamic driver. So basically, what you're hearing are these four holes. And that kind of makes sense because more of the high end, like the treble and stuff, and like the upper mids, actually comes from this center hole here, and more of the low mids and like bass and whatnot, like the body of the sound, actually comes from the holes on the peripheral, or on the periphery, whatever you call it. Sorry, I got some skin there. Ew, nasty. Ew, gross. My hands are falling apart. But anyway, yeah. So that's how that works there. Most of the mids come from the edge, or like the body of the sound. But yeah, so the DD just fires into the back of this little assembly here, and this assembly holds the BA, and then there's this like soft little like sponge thing. It's like spongy. So yeah, so this is a I'm pretty sure this is a RAF 32873. But yeah, so this is the whole assembly right here. So let me just get it in shot. Actually, I'll do it this way, so I have a little more range. So this is the whole assembly here, okay, that the BA fits into, and then it rests just like that inside the shell, just like that right there. It's a pretty clever design. And then for the DD, they're just using the dampener on the back there, and then they're using the dampener inside the shell. So, all right, I'm gonna pull the BA out, and that'll be the last thing. We'll cut it there. Well, friends, I was wrong again. This is indeed not a 33518. It is not a 32573. or whatever the hell you call it, and it is not a 32257. Freaking it is, and sorry I boogered it up a little bit. It is a 32503. Look at that. 32503. Now it is a full range BA. It's in the same class. Okay, just want to let you know that. So I am right about it being a full range BA, but this is a model that I do not have. So 32503. So that is interesting. I will definitely hang on to this and test it. But that is really cool, guys. This is by far probably the best of the teardowns that I've had. So, and I'll test the dynamic driver, and I'll put like raw measurements up and stuff from it. But yeah. Anyway, just a quick New Year's Eve video for you guys. I will mention real quick before I go, if you guys want me to do a teardown, or not a teardown, but if you want me to show you my involvement with the Gumiho, the gimlet, so the Queen of Audio gimlet, and the I can show you guys, if you want to see a teardown of the Canera Hodor, a prototype, let me know. I'll share that with you guys. So I'll do a video where I do a teardown of the prototype of Hodor. I'll do a teardown of, not teardown, but I'll show you what I had to do with like Gimlet. I'll show you some prototype shells and stuff, and I'll show you Gumiho. I'll show you some prototype shells of Gumiho. So, anywho, let me just put all the wreckage in here. I'm sure you guys would like to see this. So, this is what we got. This is what we're left over with. I got everything in the shot there. Alright guys, so that's it. Stay safe this New Year's Eve. If you go out drinking, do not drive, please. Make sure you call a cab, call an Uber, call a friend. Make sure you arrive home safe. I'm sure there are people who care about you, so do not do anything stupid. And again, like I said, if you guys have any New Year's resolutions that you'd like to share with me, put them in the comments. I read almost all of the comments. So, and I hope you guys have a good night. I'll catch you later. Peace.